Well, what do we have here, people? This is the Benelli TRK702X.
Tom Stacey.
And I got it on a little test ride just for an hour, because if you watch my previous video, I'm currently on the lookout for a new second bike, because I've sold the CRF250 and this wasn't even in my remit until I happened to see a little review on one on YouTube. So I thought I'd get a feel for it, because brand new, these bad boys come in at just over £7,000 at the moment with all the luggage. It's a 700, so this is the one with the 19-inch front wheel, and then there's an awful lot of play in that throttle. Look at that. I can sure that can be adjusted. It's only a cable throttle, but we've got a little 5-inch TFT. But what I want is a bike that, if I feel like I want to go off-road, I can. And one of the things I've not been able to find out properly about this bike is if you can turn off the ABS. The screen looks quite legible, you can see it. The sun's really beating down today as well, and it's a beautiful day in May. And sort of see what it's like standing up. Yeah. See, the thing is, I'm 6'6", and when I stand up, I feel like I'm about 100 foot in the air on most bikes. And the problem is, it's because it's almost like I'm going forward over the front wheel too far. And also, one thing I would really like on a new bike, on another bike, is cruise control, and this does not have cruise control. Engine sounds alright, quite throaty. It's not really like knock your socks off though when you, but it's comfortable enough, and I guess that's not where this bike is aimed at, obviously. It's got some slightly knobbly tyres on it, sort of like mid-range tyres, I guess, for a very light green laning, and they're okay, they feel okay so far. Suspension is quite feels okay, feels quite plush. It's not crashy or anything over these horrendous roads. Screen, it's very, very small. Clutch is really, really, really light. I feel like I'm quite far back. So just to give you, if this is your first time watching my channel, I'm 6'6". I've got a 34-inch inseam. The bike feels okay. I would say my arms are bent on the reach, and I feel like, you know, to move it like this or too far back. You've got a nice gear indicator on the front there, on the screen. Gear indicator, that's a luxury for me. It's got a little bit of poke. Feels quite good on the corners. but it's got a nice mid-range. There's nothing below 3,000 though. If I let that drop, it feels quite pokey over 3,000 RPM. Anything below that, it seems a bit lumpy. Right, let's give it some out of here and see what it feels like. Yeah, not bad. It goes nicely. There should be general with it's only done 22 miles apparently. There we go, some nicer roads now. I'm getting a lot of buffeting across the top of my head. It's quite noisy. If I bring it down, there we go. Oh yeah, I can really hear that. And I'm used to a naked bike, so that's saying something. Now the other issue I've reading up on this bike is, and I joined the owners group just to get a bit more feel about what people thought of them, because I was generally serious about this bike. I was having little dreams about it, thinking, "Grah, I could have a brand new bike." The servicing interval, once you've done all the initial services, is 3,000 miles. And it costs you about £200. That's quite a lot. That's not great, is it? And if I was buying a new bike, I mean, myself, I'd like to do all the servicing for myself, but I wouldn't do that on a new bike because of warranty and stuff like that. But 3,000 miles I think is a bit excessive. I plan on doing quite a lot of miles on this second bike as well. I am comfortable in the legs. There is a little bit of vibration through the pegs when I put my feet flat, but when I'm on my toes, on the balls of my feet, it's okay. And I think my foot is actually resting on the exhaust because of my massive size 12s. But the experience of riding this bike isn't unpleasant. Does it feel slow speed? Well, it would feel a lot better if it wasn't for that horrendous amount of play on the throttle. Goes up through the gears nicely. What else have we got? We've got an adjustable rear shock. I can't remember exactly what adjustments you get on that, and you don't have adjustments on the front, but to be fair, I don't think it's really needed on this sort of budget bike. But Graham's have kindly lent me this bike to ride about this afternoon, and I'm very appreciative of that. Really, this is a genuine contender, this one. I need to go and ride some other bikes, and some of the bikes I've got in mind are like Touareg, Aprilia Touareg, I think that's how you say it, Touareg, as Hippo Jones says, Africa Twin 1100, I want to try that out, and I'm also interested in 1050DE. I think I've knocked the Tenere out of the water because it's too off-road based, and I need to be able to do some touring, or at least long distance riding. My bum is getting a bit sore actually. I've only been on it, what, half an hour now, 20 minutes. Kind of flat, and my weight is all the way through my back on it, so yeah. Right, so I thought what we'd do is we'll go up to Wellington Monument, down some nice little roads, well, country roads, lanes, they are lanes, and see how it feels on the lanes. Let's have a good look at this motorcycle. So get into neutral there. So what have we got? As you can see, it's almost multi-strada-ish with the beak down the front. You've got the LED indicators, you've got LED running lights, halogen normal lights, got some nice set of wavy discs with Benelli labelled calipers, which I think someone said that they're actually Brembo, but don't quote me on that. Nice big exhaust, LED indicators again on the back, and then you of course got that divvy engine which has been stroked to give it more low end power. You've got a nice set of rubber bits on the pegs. Overall it's what else we got here? Is that just we've got USB A and USB-C. Yeah, so let's have a quick look. So you get your nice Benelli screen coming up. It's very dusty. So yeah, you can connect your phone to it. ABS light warning there. Nice, quite a nice petrol thing there. You got your gear indicator. So yeah, there's no like rider modes or anything like that, which I suppose is quite nice, and you probably wouldn't expect it from this sort of bike anyway. But overall it looks really good, and you can get the panniers as well. They come with it at the moment, which is about £1,000 worth of panniers. I don't think it's a bad looking bike. We've got that 19-inch width front wheel, we've got the spokes. The only thing is that they're tube tyres, which, nah, you know, do you really need that for the road? I don't know. I'm not sure how it would feel riding it off-road. It's quite heavy. I think it's about 215 kilos, dryish weight. Yeah, my foot was actually touching that when it was on the peg. But yeah, it looks well finished. I don't think there's anything on this that would say this is a cheap bike. The only thing is I would say is that centre stand looks a bit weird, sort of, and that will bang around when you're off-road as well. What I mean, value for money, great bike. I think it's just a bit too, it's not fast enough for a start, doesn't make the right noises, and it ain't tall enough. That seat as well. So I mean, just to give you an idea about what it's like to sit on. So I'm 6'6", I've got a 34-inch inseam, my feet are flat on the floor, and there is a bend in my legs. So it's okay, and when I've got my feet up on the pegs, and these sit okay, they're not cramped, my legs are sort of almost 90 degrees, not quite, I'd say 70 degrees or so, but it's definitely not comfortable. However, that seat doesn't agree with me. Hey! We really don't want to crash it. But anyway, do you know what? I'm not giving this bike a bad review. I'm not giving it, I think I'm giving it a medium review. I would say a high C+. This bike is super duper value for money. And I am still, it's still on the list. Don't get me wrong, I've not taken it away from my list of bikes or potential bikes. It's a good bike, and if you've got £7 grand to put down, and you get all of the you know, you get the panniers. I think you can add heated grips, heated seat as well for a couple of hundred quid more. If you are looking for a brand new budget motorcycle that does everything, unless you're 6'6", this is the bike for you. It's more than powerful enough, it's quick enough, it feels comfortable enough, except for the seat, but then I am really heavy and I do tend to put a lot of weight through my arse, and you know, I've got quite a tiny little bottom, so a lot of that weight is going through my spine and onto my pelvis, so not great, but balanced bike, nice to ride, you've got everything you need. What else could you want for that amount of money? For me, a little bit more poke, the screen needs to be better, ABS I want to be able to turn off. I might not do a lot of off-road riding, but when I do, I want to be able to turn the ABS off. Handles well, and I think if I could get a softer seat, I'd probably be, if the seat wasn't as hard as it is for me, you watch, I'm going to get comments, mine's fine, mine's fine. I have a sensitive bottom, I can't help it. It's one of the reasons why I sold the CF 250, it was like sitting on a plank of wood. But yeah, no, it goes around corners well. Obviously I'm not very used to the bike yet, but I'm sure if I was to have it for a longer term, I would be throwing this around the corners because it feels quite planted. People say it feels top heavy, not really felt that. But it is a glorious May day. We are actually starting to see some sunshine. Which is pleasant. Get around this corner here, around the roundabout. Yeah, it's easy to throw in and out corners. It's certainly easier than my MT-01 to throw in and out corners, but that's not saying much. If I can imagine, this would be a great commuter. Again, that's the other thing, and I'll repeat myself again, it's those 3,000 miles servicing. That is crazy, bit crazy for me. But anyway, overall nice little bike, looks the part, feels the part generally. I don't think just because it's made in China should be an issue. The quality is definitely there for the money. It's not a 20 grand bike like a Ducati or something like that, but why would you expect that level of quality from a bike of this budget? I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've watched me ramble on about it. I hope I've put some sort of insight if you're expecting to buy one of these things. I by no means would want to put anybody off. It's just my view. Benelli, if you're watching this, which I very much doubt you are, if you're watching this, I would love to have a long-termer. This tiny little channel, I would love to have a long-termer, because I feel like it's got a bit of potential. I don't think I've got enough out of this test ride to really feel it. And on that bombshell, I'm going to say goodbye. So if this is your first time watching the channel, if this is your first time watching me review a bike, give me a comment below, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, because it really helps, definitely helps. And I'll see you next time on Tom's TC, where I do things with bikes and stuff and other stuff. Yeah, bye. I'm waving at the wrong camera. Bye.